If you have ever brought a plant home, placed it on your windowsill with the best of intentions, and watched it slowly wither no matter what you did, you are not alone. Millions of people consider themselves to have a so-called black thumb, convinced that they simply are not meant to keep plants alive. The truth, however, is quite different. Most plant deaths are not caused by a lack of love or effort. They are caused by a mismatch between the plant and the environment, or by common mistakes that are incredibly easy to fix once you know what to look for. The good news is that there is an entire category of indoor plants that have been surviving in homes, offices, and even forgotten corners for decades, and they do not ask for much in return. These are plants that can handle irregular watering, low light, dry air, and the kind of benign neglect that comes with a busy modern life. In this article, you will discover 5 of the most resilient, forgiving, and beginner-friendly indoor plants available today, along with everything you need to know to keep them thriving for years to come. Before diving into the list, it is worth understanding why some plants are so much easier to care for than others. The plants on this list share a few key characteristics. They are typically slow growers, which means they do not demand constant attention or frequent repotting. They have evolved in environments where resources like water and light are unpredictable, so they have developed natural mechanisms to store water, tolerate shade, and bounce back from stress. Many of them originate from arid or semi-arid regions, from tropical forest floors where light barely penetrates the canopy, or from rocky hillsides where soil is thin and dry. These origins are exactly what make them perfect for life indoors, where conditions can be far from ideal. The first plant on this list is the pothose, and it is hard to talk about easy indoor plants without starting here. The pothose, scientifically known as Epipremnum aureum, is arguably the most forgiving houseplant in existence. It grows in hanging baskets, climbs trellises, trails along shelves, and thrives in conditions that would quickly kill most other plants. It tolerates low light better than almost any other species, which means it can survive in offices with no windows, in hallways lit only by artificial light, or in the darkest corner of a living room. It does not need direct sunlight, and in fact, direct harsh sun can actually bleach and damage its leaves. In terms of watering, the pothose is just as accommodating. It prefers to dry out between waterings, which means you can forget about it for a week or two without any dramatic consequences. The leaves will tell you when they are thirsty by developing a very slight droop or curl, giving you a built-in signal before any real damage is done. The pothose grows quickly when conditions are decent, producing long trailing vines with heart-shaped leaves that can be solid green or variegated with yellow, white, or silvery patterns depending on the variety. It is also one of the most effective air-purifying plants studied by researchers, capable of removing common household toxins from the air. It can be propagated simply by placing a cutting in a glass of water, where roots will appear within a couple of weeks. For anyone just beginning their plant journey, the pothose is the perfect first companion. The second plant that belongs on every beginner's list is the snake plant, also known by its botanical name Sansevieria trifasciata, though it has recently been reclassified under the genus Dracaena. Common names for this plant include mother-in-law's tongue, and once you understand its personality, you will understand why. It is tough, upright, and does not need you hovering over it. The snake plant features stiff, sword-like leaves that grow vertically and can reach impressive heights indoors, sometimes growing over a meter tall under the right conditions. The leaves are typically dark green with lighter green cross-banding, and some varieties feature yellow or white margins that add a striking visual element to any room. What makes the snake plant truly remarkable for beginners is its tolerance for neglect. It can go weeks, and in some cases over a month, without water during the winter months when growth slows dramatically. Overwatering is actually the most common way to kill a snake plant, so if you are the type of person who tends to forget about watering, this plant is literally rewarding your forgetfulness. It tolerates low light conditions, though it grows faster and looks more vibrant with indirect bright light. It is also highly tolerant of dry air, which makes it ideal for homes with central heating or air conditioning that tends to strip moisture from the atmosphere. Like the pothose, the snake plant has been recognized for its air-purifying properties, and it has the added distinction of releasing oxygen at night, making it a popular choice for bedrooms. In terms of maintenance, it requires almost none. Wipe the leaves occasionally to remove dust, repot every few years when it outgrows its container, and simply enjoy its sculptural presence in your space. The third plant is the ZZ plant, whose full name is Zamioculcas zamifolia, and it has earned a legendary reputation in the world of low-maintenance houseplants. The ZZ plant looks like it was designed in a showroom. Its glossy, deep green leaves grow in graceful arching stems, and the overall effect is one of lush, effortless elegance. What most people do not realize when they see it is that this beautiful appearance requires almost no effort to maintain. The ZZ plant originates from the drought-prone regions of Eastern Africa, where it learned long ago how to survive extended dry periods by storing water in its thick underground rhizomes, which function similarly to bulbs or tubers. These water reserves mean the plant can go for extended periods without watering and simply draw on its own internal supply. For a forgetful plant owner, this is nothing short of a miracle. The ZZ plant also tolerates low light with remarkable ease, making it suitable for rooms that receive very little natural light. It grows slowly, which means it will not outgrow its pot quickly and will not require frequent repotting. It is also resistant to most common pests, another factor that makes it ideal for beginners who are not yet familiar with identifying or treating plant diseases. The main thing to know about the ZZ plant is that its sap can be mildly irritating to skin and is toxic if ingested, so it should be kept away from pets and children. Outside of that consideration, it is one of the most carefree plants you can own, and its glossy leaves add an element of sophistication to any interior space. The fourth plant is the spider plant, known scientifically as Chlorophytum comosum, and it has been a staple of homes, schools, and offices for generations for very good reason. The spider plant is cheerful, fast-growing, and almost comically hard to kill. It gets its name from the small plantlets it produces on long arching stems, which dangle like little spiders from the mother plant and can be easily removed and propagated into new plants. This means that once you have one spider plant, you can quickly have many, which also makes it a popular choice for sharing with friends and family. The spider plant thrives in indirect light and is tolerant of a wide range of temperatures, though it prefers conditions that are neither too hot nor too cold. It is flexible with watering, recovering well from both under- and overwatering, which is unusual among houseplants and particularly valuable for beginners who are still finding their rhythm. The leaves are long, narrow, and arching, typically green with a white or yellow central stripe, and they create a soft, cascading effect that works beautifully in hanging baskets or on high shelves. The spider plant is also known for its air-purifying abilities, particularly its effectiveness at removing formaldehyde and xylene from indoor air. It is non-toxic to pets, which makes it one of the few plants on this list that is completely safe for households with cats or dogs. If you notice the leaf tips turning brown, this is usually a sign of fluoride sensitivity, which can be addressed simply by switching to filtered or distilled water. Other than that, the spider plant asks for very little and gives back a great deal in return. The fifth and final plant on this list is the aloe vera, a plant so useful and so resilient that it has been cultivated by humans for thousands of years. Aloe vera is a succulent, which means it stores water in its thick, fleshy leaves and has a very low tolerance for wet soil. This makes it the perfect plant for someone who tends to forget to water, since it actively prefers dry conditions over consistently moist ones. The plant grows in a rosette pattern, with long pointed leaves that are green to gray-green in color and often edged with small teeth. When grown in bright indirect light, it maintains a compact and attractive shape. When given adequate light, it may even produce tall flower spikes with tubular yellow or orange blooms, which is a rare and delightful treat when it happens. The care requirements for aloe vera are genuinely minimal. It needs bright light, ideally near a window that receives several hours of indirect or filtered sun each day. It should be watered deeply but infrequently, allowing the soil to dry out completely between waterings. During the winter months, watering can be reduced even further. It benefits from a well-draining potting mix, ideally one formulated specifically for cacti and succulents, which prevents the roots from sitting in moisture. In terms of practical value, aloe vera stands apart from other ornamental houseplants. The clear gel inside its leaves has been used for centuries to soothe minor burns, sunburns, and skin irritations, and many people keep an aloe plant in the kitchen specifically for this purpose. Breaking off a small leaf and applying the fresh gel directly to a burn provides immediate cooling relief. While the gel is beneficial externally, the latex layer just beneath the skin of the leaf can be irritating if ingested, so the plant should be kept out of reach of curious pets. Otherwise, aloe vera is an extraordinarily practical, beautiful, and easy plant that earns its place in any home. Bringing plants into your home does more than improve the aesthetics of your space. Research has consistently shown that living with plants reduces stress, improves mood, enhances concentration, and contributes to a general sense of well-being. Even a single plant on a desk can shift the energy of a workspace and provide a small but meaningful connection to the natural world. For beginners, the key is to start with plants that are genuinely forgiving, learn their basic needs, and build confidence before moving on to more demanding species. The 5 plants described in this article, the pothose, the snake plant, the ZZ plant, the spider plant, and the aloe vera, represent the best possible starting point for anyone who wants to experience the joy of plant ownership without the frustration of repeated failure. Each of these plants has its own personality, its own particular strengths, and its own kind of beauty. What they share is a resilience and adaptability that makes them ideal companions for anyone at any level of experience. They will tolerate your mistakes, forgive your forgetfulness, and reward even minimal care with growth, color, and life. The most important thing to remember is that plants are living things, and like all living things, they communicate when something is off. Learning to read the subtle signals your plants send, whether that is a drooping leaf, a yellowing tip, or unusually slow growth, is a skill that develops naturally over time. You do not need to know everything before you begin. You just need to start. If you are ready to bring more green into your life, any one of these 5 plants is an excellent place to begin. You may find, as so many people do, that one plant quickly becomes 5, and 5 becomes 10, and before long you are surrounded by life, learning something new with each season, and wondering how you ever lived without them.